Humans of the Cardboard, I am finally back at my homestead, at my headquarters, back from vacation. Sorry about the lack of content. The only real news stuff we missed is what we're going over right here in this video. We got a bunch of Animation Chronicle cards. We'll get these imported, most likely in Battles of Legend in the TCG later this year. But there's some cool stuff. There's an Elemental Hero card. All of the advanced Crystal Beasts end up in here. Then there's stuff like, Dimension Dice cards. This morning we got 2 new Amazonas traps. Very curious to see if those actually have disruptive payoff effects. We'll see. I have not read those at all. And also like a new Adai's Performer Pal card. So let's get into it. We got a bunch of cards to run through, so we'll zoom through them pretty quick here. Let's start off here with our first Elemental Hero card. This is EN Shuffle. This is a normal spell card. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn. The first effect reads, shuffle 1 Elemental Hero or Neospatian monster you control into the deck. And if you do, special summon 1 Elemental Hero or Neospatian monster with a different name from your deck. Obviously an ashable effect, but I like that it doesn't have to shuffle as cost. So if you do get ashed on it or negated, you don't lose the monster you already had on the field. So we'll take that. Pretty good though, honestly. There's a couple good targets here. The best ones, in my opinion, are going to go as Stratos, Shadow Mist, getting you a mass change on summon, and then I guess there could be fringe situations where stuff like Liquid Soldier could be okay, but I think those 2 would be the biggest 2. And for some other potential application, theoretically you could summon out like an Aqua Dolphin out of the deck, try to hand rip a card from your opponent, but in pure hero, you want to go into like Cross Crusader, and I don't believe Aqua Dolphin can be used as that. But, you know, it is what it is. I wish if this said shuffle 1 warrior you control to summon, that would make this really cool, because you'd be able to, like, in something like Infernoble, pull out Aqua Dolphin before you even have to go into Isold, even easier. It'd be a cool extender. But, yeah. Still solid, all in all. Then the second effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard to shuffle an Elemental Hero and a Neospatian monster or an Elemental Hero Neos from your graveyard into the deck, then draw 1 card. A little bit tough that you have to shuffle an Elemental Hero and a Neospatian or Elemental Hero Neos, so that would be theoretically a more anime-style deck. Not a lot of actual like competitive-ish hero builds are going to be playing Neospatians. The draw 1 would be nice, but I don't think you're going to inherently make your deck worse just to get that draw 1 effect. But still not bad. In a more like fun anime-style build, this card's actually pretty cool. Like actually, all things considered. So pretty cool card. Nice. All right, let's move to the Advanced Crystal Beast. We start off with Ruby Carbuncle. It has all the same stats, I'm pretty sure. I think all of them have the same stats. All of them have this same clause. So I won't read this every time, but it is the clause that pretty much kills them from being actually good in Crystal Beast. If Advanced Dark is not face up in the field zone, send this card to the graveyard. Just awful. And what even makes it worse is that Advanced Dark is a horrible field spell. It does almost nothing. So yeah. If this card's destroyed, you can put it in your continuous zone. Very cool. And this card, if it's in the continuous spell, in the zone as a continuous spell, it can just summon itself. And then you can summon as many advanced crystal monsters out of your spell and trap zones as possible. Solid extender, but again, relies too much on that. Then you have Amethyst Cat. Your advanced crystal beast can attack directly, but the damage is halved. You know, fine. You have Emerald Tortoise. It has a quick effect to just target a face-up monster field, change its battle position. That one's actually not horrible. It's not great, obviously. It's not like a straight-up interruption. It doesn't really affect links, but, you know, at least in a simplified board state, keeping your opponent's stuff in defense mode is actually pretty funny. But it's a quick effect, funny card. Topaz Tiger gives all advanced Crystal Beast monsters 400/400. And all monsters your opponent controls lose 400/400. I don't even hate that at all. That's an 800-point swing. I mean, he gets over anything 24 or smaller. Not bad. But again, requires Advanced Dark to be on the field. Just awful. Then you get to Amber Mammoth. Amber Mammoth says once per turn when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets an Advanced Crystal Beast card and or Advanced Dark you control, negate it. I guess that's the one saving grace, is that like if you have Advanced Dark, if you can get to Amber Mammoth, at least he protects it decently well from anything that targets, so that's cool. And you can negate any when any Advanced Crystal Beast is targeted for an attack, you can negate it. It's also kind of nice, just kind of keep him on the field, which then protects the field spell, and that's cool. Let's see. Cobalt Eagle once per turn. You can send this card from your hand or field of grave to search Advanced Dark. So that makes these a little better, is that they get another searcher for Advanced Dark, because if you don't have Advanced Dark, these cards do nothing. They're horrible. So at least there's that. And then once per turn, you can target an Advanced Crystal Beast card you control and either return it to the hand or place it on top of the deck. So I guess it can get your spell and traps back to the hand to be monsters again. That's cool. And then the last one is Sapphire Pegasus. If this card is summoned, place an Advanced Crystal Beast that is banished, hand, deck, or graveyard into the spell and trap zone. Again, not horrible, especially with the Ruby Carbuncle. That's one card, puts 2 bodies on the field at the very least, but requires Advanced Dark on the field. So really, really big letdown, I think. I saw these and I was like, whoa, no way. This is what I talked about. They need better main deck monster, Crystal Beast monsters. But the fact that they all just have that same clause just means that like none of them are really going to work in the actual deck, and most likely not with the structure deck new cards either. So yeah, kind of a letdown. Okay, this is really hype. 2 traps. I've talked about this as an engine. It seems like Amazonas does some pretty cool things, but they just don't have legitimate disruption. We've got 2 continuous trap cards. Let's hope we've got something here. Let's see. Okay, the first one is a continuous trap called Amazonas Hall. It's this first one. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. When this card resolves, you can add 1 Amazonas monster from your graveyard or face-up extra deck to your hand. Or, if it is a Pendulum monster, you can place it directly into your Pendulum zone instead. Interesting. We do have the 2 new monsters from the new Legendary Duelist support. Then 2 of them are obviously Pendulum monsters. They have their best effects are actually in the scale, so that's kind of cool. If your opponent special summons a monster and you control an Amazonas monster card, you can target one of those opponent's monsters and gain life points equal to its attack. No, this one's just not enough. It's too slow. It's only getting you an add back or a place into scale. I don't remember exactly what they do into scale, but I think it's like you have to, if you destroy a monster by battle or deal life points to your opponent or something in the battle phase, you like pop a back row or pop a monster. They're fine, but they require the battle phase. So quick reborning them or quick putting them in scale on the opponent's turn isn't quite doing enough. This card doesn't do enough to me. It's a little bit too slow. No interruption. Okay, let's see. Then we have Amazonas Hot Spring. Continuous trap card, you can only use a second effect once per turn. When this card resolves, you can add 1 Amazonas monster from your deck to your hand, or if it's a Pendulum monster, you can place it in your Pendulum zone instead. Okay, and when you take battle damage and you control an Amazonas monster card, you can gain life points equal to the damage you took. Oh. So they're just engine cards. They're not the worst thing in the world, you know. We've seen Duel Links. Amazonas was a legitimately like top tier deck in Duel Links for a while. If the format was slow enough, which I don't think it'll ever be slow enough for these 2 to be like considered legitimately awesome. And it's only when this card resolves. So it's not like every turn you're searching. It's just on activation. And then from then on, it's literally just this second effect. But this one does just activate at one of the scales straight from deck. Again, I think they require the battle phase, so they're not an interruption or anything to activate on the opponent's turn. And that's definitely a letdown for me. Shame. This one's they're just taking a bath with the tiger. Okay. Okay, let's finish up here. Dimension Dice cards. We have 2 cards, 2 spells. One's a field spell. This one is Dice Dungeon. When this card resolves, you can add 1 Dimension Dice from your deck to your hand. Sweet. And at the start of the battle phase, you can make each player roll a 6-sided die. And if they do, you apply these effects to each monster on the field based on its controller's result until the end of this turn. So only based on its controller's result. So whatever you roll will only affect your monsters that you control. If you roll a 1, lose 1,000. Roll 2, everything gains 1,000. If you roll 3, lose 500. Roll 4, gain 500. 5, all your attacks become halved, and 6, your attacks become doubled. So just a bunch of battle effects. Okay, but it's still a +1. You still activate this and search that, and you could definitely sway some things with these if you get lucky on some of these rolls for sure. Okay, the last one is Dimension Dice, normal spell card. If you control a card that has a die rolling effect, you contribute 1 monster to special summon a monster that has a die rolling monster effect from your hand or deck. Wow, okay. So this card doesn't seem as good to draw because like it says you have to control a card that has a die rolling effect. So you'd either already have to have a monster to tribute that has a die rolly effect, something like Snipe Hunter, or you'd have to control something like Dice Dungeon. So it seems like it'd always be better to just go activate Dice Dungeon, search Dimension Dice, Dice Dungeon counts, and you contribute literally anything, and something like Orgoth. You have Orgoth in the card art here for Dimension Dice, and you'd be able to just cheat him right out of the deck. Do some cool plays. Very cool. Fun stuff, but definitely casual. Nothing crazy. And then you finish up here with the new Performance Pal Adai's card. This is Adai Seer. He is a level 6 Dark Spellcaster. Okay, so he could even be a Magician Souls Send target. Attack is 100. Defense is 1800. He is a low scale with a scale 1. That's pretty good as well. Pendulum Effect. You can only use this Pendulum Effect on this card's name once per turn. You can target one Performance Pal or Adai's card in your graveyard, add it to your hand, then destroy this card. Huh. That's actually not bad. Any Adai's or Performance Pal card in general, so even spells and traps as well. Very cool. That could actually be pretty good. It does destroy itself, but it's a pendulum. It goes to the extra deck, and then it's just pen fodder. Not bad. Okay. And then for the monster effects, you can only use it once per turn. If you control this pendulum summoned card, you can activate this effect based on its battle position. Very cool. You're going to have 2 effects here. If it is in attack position, you can banish this card, then target a Performance Pal or Adai's monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Okay. So kind of like get rid of it to get something back from grave. That's okay. Sure. And in defense position, you can take one Performance Pal Adai's pendulum monster from your deck and either add it to your extra deck face up or send it to the graveyard. Okay, so it's either a Foolish Burial or a like send a pendulum to the extra deck. Although this card can only use these effects if it's already been pendulum summoned, which means, you know, if you send something to extra deck, it's not, you're probably just sending it for next turn. But sure, I think all of this card's effects are like, there could definitely be a world where they're decent, but I don't know specifically for Performance Pal Adai's builds if level 6 is good, if you need low scales, how many effects that are good in grave, or like how easy the deck cards are, like getting in the grave and being good at being added back. I have no idea, right? So that'd be the biggest questions for me. But like reading this card in a vacuum, it reads like a pretty good pendulum card, all things considered. But we just have to see on really how well it meshes with everything else we have for Adai's and Performance Pal stuff. But very cool. Okay, solid. All in all, you know, the Dungeon Dice stuff is cool, casual stuff. This guy could be good. I just don't know the Performance Pal Adai stuff that well. These, they're not the worst thing in the world. They're not just nothing. But it's just like really slow engine stuff, and Amazon still sits here without a legitimate way to interrupt the opponent or what feels like a true modern, you know, good enough win condition. It's really bummy. The Advanced Crystal Beast, missing just the fact that they got dogged by needing Advanced Dark on the field. And then this card, it's cool, like for a more fun anime build of Elemental Heroes, like this card definitely has some spice there as well. But a lot of fun stuff, nothing too crazy. I still think we have a couple more reveals, like 10 or so cards. Maybe it's a little bit less than that. For the rest of the set, I think we're exactly a week away from this coming out in the OCG. I'll keep you updated on anything else that comes out there, but that's pretty much everything we missed over the last week for Animation Chronicle. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below, so let me know what you're thinking on any of these new cards. If you think there's anything in particular that I missed on any of them, please let me know down below, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Peace.